Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at ZeroSpace. So ZeroSpace has actually just entered its first open playtest, so if you guys want to try out the game, you can head into Steam, request access there, and you should be able to get access to the game. It's going to be live, I believe, today and tomorrow, so that's the 23rd and the 24th of November. It's been live a few days before that as well for people who are in the closed playtest, but now it's going to be open to everybody. So I just wanted to give you my first impressions of the game so far, what I think about it, what's new since the last time we took a look at it, and all that good stuff. So unfortunately, one of the main things that I wanted to check out with you guys was the campaign. And whilst I have played the campaign and trialed it in some form, all of those tests have been under NDA, and probably for good reason. They've seen what happened with Stormgate. Obviously, the campaign for that game wasn't very well received, so they want to make sure that their campaign, the first reveal of the first missions, is as polished as it possibly can be. So for that reason, the campaign isn't available, but I really do look forward to showing you guys that whenever I can. However, we do have a brand new co-op mode here called Galactic War. So this is what Galactic War looks like. You have 3 different factions here. And you're going to see down in the bottom right, I can switch to any of them. I'm in the Eden Accord at the moment. Obviously, everything you see here is placeholder. This is a massive work in progress, so, you know, take everything aesthetically wise with a massive pinch of salt. But basically, you're going to have control of a certain territory, and you are waging war over neighboring solar systems. So all of these solar systems that have a small green pointer, a small green arrow, or I guess it's kind of like a pyramid floating above them, those are eligible targets. And if you click on one here, you can then change the map. I don't know how this is going to work in the future. I'm guessing that certain planets are going to be certain maps, but at the moment in this test, you can switch between 3 different maps here. So I'm going to put some of the gameplay on screen for you guys. There's an advanced map where you have this massive robot. It advances forward, and it's sort of like a protect the robot map. It has to, I believe, take 4 different objectives there. That one's pretty interesting. Then there's a blockade map where you have to stop incoming dreadnought ships from killing certain temples on the map. And then finally, you have like a survival map where you have to survive for 4 days and nights. So just like in most RTSs, you can play these with the AI, you can play them as co-op as well. But I think what's interesting is that these territories are going to be ever-changing between the 3 different factions. So you're going to be constantly vying for control of those solar systems. And as you take control of them, I believe this here is your sort of influence of that particular planet in that system. And as you take control, you're going to see that you will gain certain buffs. So the Eden Accord occupation buff for this place here is 10% hero damage, health, and shields. If we go to another planet here, well, it's the same one there. That's kind of unlucky. Here we've got 150 starting hex sites. So the more of these areas you control, the more buffs you're going to get for your faction. So you can play at the moment as Vinthra, which is like the hero for the Grell, so basically that's the Grell faction, or you can play as the Protectorate with the Mirror hero. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a very novel take on co-op, instead of just jumping into a random map and then gaining hero level, which you definitely do in this as well. There's like a bigger picture to it, which I think is an interesting way of doing things. Now, they've also got a survival mode in here, which is another co-op mode, a 2-player mode, and this pretty much does what it says on the tin. Can you and your allies survive all 10 nights? So you will get increasingly large waves of enemies clashing against your base. You can play as any faction in the game, and yeah, it's like a pretty basic survival mode. I haven't really played this one too much, but I guess it's a welcome addition to the game. I also wanted to really give them kudos to this learn area here. ZeroSpace has a lot of different things that you don't see in most RTSs. I think it has 3 main pillars, which are sort of new for a lot of people. So the first thing is you've got heroes, and those heroes have different abilities, and you can level them up, which I guess may be new to some people, maybe not to others. And then you've also got talents, which you can accrue by getting experience, which you get from taking towers on the map. You can look at all of these here in the learn section. And then thirdly, you've also got mercenaries. So the way ZeroSpace works, if you're not familiar, is you pick a faction, so Protectorate, Grell, or the Legion, but then you also pick a mercenary faction to go along with that. And you can mix any mercenary faction with any of the core factions in the game, and you will then have access to a number of units. So for the Moran here, you get access to Hell, which is one of the heroes, the Moran Badger, the Sharpshooter, the Hover Tank, and then the Halo Tank, And you're going to see there are some different talents here that come along with that mercenary faction. So this learn section, I think, is great. It's nothing too fancy, like it's pretty rudimentary, but it just means that you can go through everything here through the various game modes. You can even boot up a tutorial if you'd like. You know, you can go on the Protectorate, check out all the units here for the Protectorate, check out every single building. What is the health? Check out all of the talents here for the top bar. So you don't have to do all of this stuff in-game. You have a handy reference feature, and I think this is something that really all RTS games should do. They should just have some sort of an index with all of the information that is relevant to the game. Now, if you're somebody who's never played ZeroSpace before, I really recommend coming to Custom Game, clicking on Host Game, and then doing the tutorial. And once you're done with the tutorial, which will give you a general handle on the gameplay, just go and load up like a 1v1 here and put it up against like the relaxed AI. I think that's the best idea. That will give you time to just build all of the units, mess around getting all of the top bar abilities, playing around with those, playing around with the heroes, because as it is with any RTS that's new to you, it is very overwhelming. If you don't know what all of these things do, you don't know the hotkeys, etc., it is going to take a little bit of time and, I suppose, commitment to learn what they do. But once you do, it's very rewarding. And honestly, right now is a great time to play 1v1. I haven't played a whole lot of 1v1 in ZeroSpace, and the main reason is that whenever there's a closed test, which I have access to at the moment, all of the people in that closed test, well, there's very few of them. And most of the people in there are RTS pros. So I will keep on just smashing against the rock that is Vortex, or somebody else like that, and I am nowhere near the level of that kind of player, so I don't really feel like I'm learning a lot. I can't really get a foot in the door. But now that there's actually an open playtest this weekend, that means there is a much larger influx of new players, and if we go and take a look over on Steam, there's around 200 or 300 players playing at any time daily at the moment, which doesn't sound like a lot, but believe me, it's a lot more than usual for this game. So I've been mainly playing as the Protectorate here. They are basically what I sort of equate to as like the Terran race. There's just always something that resonates with me about being humans. I don't know, maybe it's just the human nature in me, but I've always gone for whatever race seems the closest to Terran. So I've been mostly using Mera, so she is a hero that actually has a gun or a shield and a sword. She can switch between them. She's got a dash. She's also got a bubble that she can throw down, which is a protective shield, which reduces damage that you take from all sources. So pretty nice all-round hero there. And as I mentioned, one of the main focuses of ZeroSpace is taking some of it off of the macro side of the game. So you're going to notice that you don't have workers in this game at all. They've actually removed those now from the previous playtests. You never had workers for like your actual harvesting. You just throw down your building that mines, and it just automatically does it. It builds these 4 little nodes, but it will automatically start to mine that for you. You do have to build harvesters, which will mine the hexite, the more rare resource in the game. But outside of that, you don't really have workers. If you want to build anything, you just press B on the keyboard, you click somewhere in the build grid, and a little drone flies out and just plops it down somewhere. So all of the macro in the game is super easy. You just hit tab to build units. So you've got a build menu, you hit tab again, it goes to your research, and you can upgrade your units straight from there. Hit tab again, and you get back to your army. More of the focus is placed on map control, and kind of like Stormgate, the way that Stormgate did this is by putting these creep camps all over the map where players are supposed to vie for control of them. In ZeroSpace, you vie for control of towers, which will give you more experience, and the more experience you accrue, the more talents you get. The more talents you get, the more powerful you become, and a lot of these talents are really, really cool actually. So the first one you start off with here for the Protectorate is called Beam Up. So what this allows you to do is beam up individual targets and teleport them back to your base or any of your harvesting bases that you desire, and it also heals them up. So whenever one of your units is getting a little bit low, it's super easy to cast that on them. They get sent back to your base, that unit survives, and it also gets healed up. Super, super good. So that's one of the active abilities. Some of the others are more passive, so you've got improved veterancy, plus 25% faster veterancy gain, so kind of similar to the Vanguard in Stormgate. Protectorate units do gain rank ups, and they get more firepower and health, I assume, for doing that. You can upgrade production efficiency, which gives you plus 75% to unit train speed. And then a little bit further down the line, you do get some more active abilities, so you can get airstrikes that you can call in as long as you construct airstrips. Or you can choose to go for Weapon X, which is like this massive walking mech that you can call down that will explode upon death in a huge nuclear explosion. And that's sort of like the ultimate ability, I suppose you could call it, for the Protectorate. And likewise for the Grell and the Legion, they have similarly powerful abilities, but still very, very different. So the Grell are more like a Zergy alien kind of race. And the ability they start off with actually allows them to like infuse their units, so they go in a cocoon, and once they come out, they've grown a little bit bigger, gotten more powerful, and also gained some more health. And you can infuse the same unit a number of times. So you can take, for example, a siege unit that has a large investment in terms of resources and is perhaps very powerful, and then infuse that unit many, many times. It's going to cost you more energy, I believe, the bigger the unit is and the more expensive the unit is. But this is a very interesting mechanic that you can use in the early game to take a small number of army units and make them just slightly more powerful than whatever army you're going up against. So a lot of the gameplay, especially in the early game, really revolves around your hero, the abilities that it has, the talents that you have, and control of those towers. It's not necessarily about just rushing across the battlefield and killing your opponent, although you can certainly do that and just ignore talents and ignore all the towers. And then again, you can pick a different mercenary faction. I have to say, this scares me a little bit. I'm so used to just using whatever units my faction has that now I'm chopping and changing things up by adding different mercenary factions. It's a little bit overwhelming to me to have to add in these units, but I've been trying to just stick with one and learn how to use them. And for me, that has been the Moran. In particular, I think the Moran sharpshooters are really nice units, so you can sort of set these up in somewhat of a siege mode, and they will hunker down and defend anything in the area, massively increasing their range, but of course they can't move. And almost all of the mercenary units have this in common, that they will have like some sort of an active ability. Once you get a lot of units of different varieties and you're controlling them all, you're going to see at the bottom of the screen that you will have so many hotkeys for the various abilities, hotkeys for the top bar abilities, hotkeys for your heroes, so many things that can be cast and used that it maybe is a little bit too much for me. It's going to get a little bit too crazy. So I'm not quite sure whether this is a double-edged sword. It's welcome at the start of the game, but as things get later on, it just gets like absolutely mad. But like I say, this is definitely something that the more I play, the more I get used to it. So those are just some sort of general thoughts on the game from me right off the bat, guys, after having played this new playtest. Please let me know what you think down below. Have you given it a go? Are you going to jump in? I'd love to hear all of your guys' thoughts on that. If they do decide to like reveal the campaign at any point and I'm able to bring you guys footage of that and it's not under NDA, I'll definitely be posting a little playthrough of that here on the channel. But otherwise, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.